Very well. Now let's talk about the digital currency that has been proposed by the Central Bank of Kenya. And we just want to give you a bit of perspective in terms of numbers and a bit of data on what or where the world is going in terms of transaction. But first off, what is digital money? Digital money is the digital representation of value. The public sector can issue digital money called central bank digital currency, essentially a digital version of cash that can be stored and transferred using an internet or mobile application. Now, let's give you a bit of data on the countries that are, of course, using these digital currencies. So far, 14 countries now are in the piloting stage with their central bank currencies. They are commonly known as CBDCs, including China, Sweden, and South Korea. Only 6 have fully launched. These are the Bahamas, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, and of course St. Lucia, with Nigeria launching the e-Naira. Of course, Nigeria was the first country in Africa to launch the e-Naira. Let's give you more numbers right here. So 9 countries have fully launched, 14 countries are at the piloting stage, 17 countries are in development stage. Of course, that is with regard to consultations here and there. 40 countries are still researching and of course benchmarking from other countries that have enacted it, trying to look at the pros, the cons of having a digital currency. 7 countries are inactive and 2 have said, we are not boarding. But why is that so? What is the phenomenon? Let's now give you a bit of what Kenyans are saying, what you are saying on the street about this. Central Bank of Kenya has opened its doors for Kenyans to submit their views before the end of the next 120 days on the central bank digital currency. KTN's Moige William was, however, engaging Kenyans, of course, for CBK to create this digital currency, and this is what Kenyans had to say.
And here in Embu County, we have sought to understand from Kenyans on their views on this particular subject.
Digital currency is a good idea for this nation. One thing is that it will be in a position to carry many of the characteristics of money. It will be divisible, it will be durable, and therefore we won't have a lot of issues relating to failure to have money divided into smaller units. But again, digital currency will be disadvantageous in the sense that it will not be acceptable a lot by so many people, and one of the characteristics of money is acceptability.
It's a good stake. It's a good stake. Risk yake ukielewa it's a good stake. You can go with that. That one free to the bank. But now the problem is watu wengi sana hawaja about it. Mkifanya marketing mzuri sana ya digital currency, it's a good one.
I think wanapaswa kuintroduce hiyo kitu kwa watu before wailete. Wana explain ya watu how it works before ilete yani. Okay, I think many Kenyans wataichukulia poa, kuna wenye hawataichukulia poa. Hivyo
hii cashless money inakuja, sioni ikifanya for now. Juu tuko na M-Pesa, Airtel Money na cash yenye iko kwa mfuko yenye tunapelekanga bank. Sasa hii cashless money kitambo ya doubt, hata kama we in a digital world, ita take time na itatusumbua sana. Na bado wakora hapo ndio wataingilia kutunyang'anya juu wakora wako na ujuzi kutuliko sisi wananchi. Kwa hivyo naona hii ni shinda wanatuletea.
Mambo ya cashless ikuwe in Kenya, ni kwangu itakuwa ngumu juu mostly lazima unaweza pata mteja, ukipata na mteja yani ikuwe cashless. Itakuwa napingo sana kwetu. Because zingine ukipata cash unaweza nunua vitu zako cash, ukienda kwa mafuta unakunywa mafuta haraka. Yeah.
Naweza sema is a good step to go. Since I unajua tuko in the 21st century, naweza sema is a good thing to go. But again, I think we need a lot of sensitization kwa sababu you can see our current world sahi. Si kila mtu amezoea digital. We need to sensitize a lot kwa sababu kuna wale kama mama mboga, unaona? Watu kama hao mostly wanataka hizo cash sana.
Kwa sawa, challenge ni hizo vitu za 5 bob, 10 bob, but it is okay. Tuta adapt with time. Thank you.
Well, there you have it from a number of residents here in Embu County on their opinion and views on digital currency.
Very well. From issues about security and, of course, sensitization, and we don't have enough knowledge on this, and we are not sure about how it's going to work. Let's now explain what all this mean and how the digital currency, if approved, will affect your daily operations. Joining me now is Rufus Kamau, a financial analyst from Scope Markets. Rufus, good to see you, brother.
Thank you, Brian.
Great. So let's start with the reactions of Kenyans, as you have heard there. Why are people having all these insecurities about knowledge about this? What is this digital currency really? What is the proposal of the CBK to Kenyans?
Well, technically, what the CBK issued is a discussion paper in order to lay the framework for the CBDC. So I know it's human to be afraid of something that is new, but once people get to understand it, then they know that it's something easy to use. So it's not something that is entirely new. So when you talk of digital money, just like the money in your M-Pesa, it's digital money. So it's something that people can find easy to use.
Amazing. And that's very interesting because most people are saying they do not understand it, they do not know it, but they're using it somehow. But now let me throw a bit of span in the works. What is the difference between the digital currency and crypto?
When you talk about cryptocurrencies, they are literally new technology that helps, let's say, send and receive value over a distributed network or a distributed ledger where, let's say, there's no central location or central issue of currency. So if you're looking at a currency such as Bitcoin, it's totally distributed on a peer-to-peer network, so there's nobody influencing that. However, if you look at other digital currencies, remember cryptocurrencies are also digital currencies.
Definitely.
Yeah. So when you look at other digital currencies like M-Pesa, we know that it's being issued by Safaricom. So if you look at another digital currency, let's say something like stable coins, like USD Tether, it's being issued by a specific company.
Sure.
So when it comes to CBDCs, it's a different type of currency that is issued by a central bank. Yeah.
And that's pretty interesting because the regulation is better and of course it's backed by, in this case, it would be backed by the shilling.
Yeah.
Good thing. So the question then becomes, you saw the data we ran earlier on countries that have enacted it, countries that are talking about it, countries that are still researching, and those that have said, we are not boarding on this one. Why is the CBK introducing this now? And why is it important to have a digital currency now?
Well, I would say there's a couple of features that are influencing the decision to start exploring into the CBDCs right now.
Okay.
So one of the features is the growth of the fintech companies. So over the world, if you look at China, they have some of the biggest fintech companies in the world. If you look at US, they have their own share of fintechs. If you come to Kenya, we have Safaricom and the commercial banks. So when it comes to making financial decisions or monetary decisions about an economy, you realize that these fintech companies have grown too big. So if you look at Safaricom, the number of transactions they are processing per day is literally so big, like they can actually influence big decisions in the economy. So to give an example, when earlier during the pandemic, when the central bank was trying to implement a measure to push more money in the economy, they actually were forced to move to Safaricom and request Safaricom to lower the rates for transfer. So in that case, the central bank did not have as much influence in the monetary decisions within the economy, which lies under its mandate. So that's one of the reasons they're trying to implement a CBDC so that it can have a direct influence in the economy.
Great.
Yeah.
Now the next question becomes, of course, this has been raised a lot by Kenyans. If approved, how will it work? How will it operate?
Since it's still a discussion paper, there's three basic approaches that we can face this. So the first approach is where the central bank would just issue the currency and have direct interactions with the retail. So technically, you would have a mobile wallet, just like the way you have an M-Pesa app. And then from the mobile wallet, you'll be able to, let's say, exchange your cash for e-currency, and then you can transact. Let's say I send you money directly, you send me back.
Okay.
And that would be a big challenge because it would be in direct competition with the payments processors that we already have in the system. So the other one would be, let's say the central bank issues the currency, but directly to the commercial banks.
Okay.
So rather than dealing directly with the people, issues to the commercial banks, and then the commercial banks will credit your account with the e-money. So within your e-wallet, let's say you would have Equity Bank, you would have KCB, and then from your account at KCB, you'll be able to take your e-money and then spend it somewhere in the economy.
Let's escalate this conversation to get into a bit of the market structure and how volatility happens, especially even in the crypto world. We saw a recent dip in Bitcoin. It came up again. Will that be the same case with the value of the e-shilling, if approved, or with the value of the digital currency?
I'll take an example with what is happening around the world. So technically, this morning I talked with a guy in Nigeria, and he told me that the CBDC is a big challenge to implement in the economy because of inclusivity.
Okay.
So, for instance, in our population, there are some people who are hardworking citizens, but they have never braced the walls of a classroom, so they don't know about the internet, they don't know about currencies, and so on. So in such a case where you are trying to implement a digital currency in Kenya, then these guys would be left out, and that's a big challenge to implement here in Africa.
I see.
So when it comes to the value of the currency, I believe if it's at CBDC, based on judging from other economies that are implementing similar currencies, it will be basically pegged on the Kenya shilling. So if you look at USDT, it's pegged on the US dollar. So if you peg it on the Kenya shilling, then I don't think there will be as much volatility. However, there's one variation. If, let's say, we are the first country in East Africa to implement a CBDC, then let's say a Ugandan guy trying to, let's say, move to a different jurisdiction and they want to spend their money online, they'll probably switch from UG shillings to the e-money in Kenya, and then you use it to spend it somewhere else.
Okay.
So probably there will be demand and some higher volatility, yes.
I see, and of course the money would now be made from the spreads in the forex earnings. Now that also brings out the conversation about having that unitary currency in the East African community. Now the question then becomes, what is the interest of the IMF and the World Bank on this one, and the other multilateral lenders, of course investment banks and other concessional lenders? What is their interest in the CBDCs globally?
So I believe one of them is to catch up with innovation. Financial innovation world is going too fast, and faster than regulation. So they're trying to catch up in order to be able to understand what's happening and be ahead of the curve. At the same time, if you look at their clients, the IMF, the World Bank clients, is mainly central banks. So for instance, IMF looking at Kenya, it will be looking at the Kenyan economy, how vibrant is the economy, how fast is the money moving, and so on. So judging by the last couple of years, we have seen that the usage of cash is going down and down. And this is not a Kenya-centric situation, it's a situation that
it's a global phenomenon.
Yes.
Okay.
So when it comes to, let's say, assessing the creditworthiness of, let's say, a central bank, the IMF is interested to see the data, the interactions between currency and the major players in the market.
Those metrics are what they would use.
So right now, it's very difficult to do that among many nations because most of the money is being controlled by the financial technology companies, such as Safaricom. So the IMF would have a lot of difficulty dealing with Safaricom to see how fast the money, and of course,
because it's a private company.
Yeah, it's proprietary.
And they don't lend to private companies.
Yeah.
Great.
So if, let's say, in some way, I don't know if this would happen, and the Central Bank of Kenya introduced a digital currency, and it's on one ledger. So every time I send some money to you, you send to me, they can record that. Then they would have all the data about the economy. We know.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we know it's going to be a big issue in trying to have the money being very transparent. You can see all the transactions, and also handling the privacy part, where the government can literally monitor you buying every nitty-gritty in your life here.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Of course, there's also the issue about netting the tax cheats. Let's speculate a little. And on this one, we are purely allowed to speculate.
Yes.
There's room for a bit of speculation. Do you think the international, the multilateral lenders, the IMFs, the World Banks, and of course other lenders are getting interested in the CBDCs because crypto, which is equally a digital currency, is not regulated. It is not governed by anyone. It's not backed by anything unless it's a stable coin. Do you think that's the interest? Are they trying to quote unquote fight crypto? Again, we can purely speculate on this one.
When you talk about crypto, there's two main forces. We know that Bitcoin is big dominant in the market. It's bound to probably become the world reserve currency. So the crypto market is very open. It's transparent. You can literally assess any transaction. You can verify it's based on code. So it's very transparent. So the fact that the IMF and other multilateral lenders used to, let's say, give loans to Kenya and other economies, they will not have control in crypto, so they might feel that they are being left out. But in my opinion, I don't believe it's a one party wins all. There is a way we can coexist. Let's say have Bitcoin as a global currency, and they'll still be able to issue their loans.
Their loans, great. Wow, this we could go on and on. This is the only time we have, beg your pardon. We've been speaking to Rufus Kamau from Scope Markets. He's a market analyst right there, and talking about the digital currencies. Of course, this is just the first of the many discussions we want to be having about this. Where are we going with the digital currencies? Of course, he rightly put it, that people rarely spend cash today. I can't remember the last time I actually handed money to pay for something. I transacted through the mobile wallets. But then, this is where the world is going. Many thanks for your company too on Business Cafe. Tomorrow, of course, we talk about something else. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. My name is Brian Jojotieno. Maringa is up next with News Center. Good morning, Africa.